Welcome to Fringe Pop 321, the show that believes the world is stranger than we think, but thinking should not be strange. Now, it ought to be pretty obvious what our episode topic for today is. Yep, the Alien Autopsy film is in the crosshairs. Now, I know that you know the Alien Autopsy film was a fraud. The film was a hoax. And so I'm not really going to dismember and disembowel our little friend today. My assistant is. Now, the story of the Alien Autopsy begins in 1995, at least where the public is concerned. That was the year that Ray Santilli, a musician, record producer, and film producer from the UK, released footage of what he told the public was authentic film of the autopsy of a dead extraterrestrial recovered from the crash of a UFO near Roswell, New Mexico in 1947. The footage was, of course, grainy, ostensibly due to its age. It appeared to survive professional inspection as having come from 1947. Once it did, the film began to gain traction around the world. Many considered the autopsy footage visually compelling in its detail. Like, really? It certainly had a greater feel of authenticity than the props you'd see at the UFO Museum in Roswell, New Mexico, for example. Now, believers and debunkers naturally debated the film's authenticity with equal dedication. All that ended in 2006, though, when Santilli confessed on a British television show that the film was not what it seemed to be. Now, the British television show that interviewed Santilli and upon which he confessed what people were really seeing was hosted by Eamon Holmes. It was called Eamon Investigates, the Alien Autopsy. Santilli admitted to Holmes that the film he had sold to the Fox network was a fake, one he claimed was based on a real alien autopsy film he had once seen. Time magazine covered the story. To summarize the details, he had seen the original film in full once, or so Santilli claimed, but by the time he had gathered the money to buy it, it had become too damaged to use. So he and his fellow producer Gary Sheffield built a set, hired actors, and filmed a quote-unquote restoration of the alleged original autopsy. They did this specifically so they'd have a film to pitch to the networks. They knew it would make serious money. And according to Santilli, the cameraman was a homeless man he picked up off the street to play the part. To date, Santilli has never produced a frame of the actual autopsy film he says he reproduced in his own work. You'd think that would kill the story, but it didn't. As of 2018, it got even stranger. Now, you might wonder, what could keep the alien autopsy hoax alive after its creator confessed to a staged reproduction? Well, how about a second confession from a different guy? Enter Spiros Milaris, a filmmaker and ex-magician. In 2018, Milaris stepped forward into the public eye to claim that he was responsible for most of the reproduction work on what became known as the Alien Autopsy film. Milaris' story is that Santilli told him about the reproduction at the Cannes Film Festival. Allegedly, Milaris told Santilli that the fake was too obvious. There were too many flaws, and offered to create a better one. With Santilli's permission, Milaris recruited John Humphreys, a sculptor and special effects friend. Spiros' then girlfriend, whose real name may or may not be Geraldine, contributed with extensive research into how an autopsy might have been procedurally performed in 1947 by a normal military-based surgeon as opposed to a professional pathologist. Humphrey's 10-year-old son served as a model for the alien cadaver. The head was sculpted separately. Now, Milaris also had a good explanation for why the film had been judged authentic by photographic professionals. Researcher Gareth Medway summarizes that. Quote, "The film edge markings, can you keep it down? The film edge markings, a square and a triangle, show that it was made in 1947, the film itself. That in itself does not prove when it was shot or processed, but it was pointed out that it was a Super XX panchromatic 16mm safety film, which was unstable and had a lifetime of no more than 2 years. Now, this eliminated the possibility that someone in the 1990s had got hold of an unexposed reel of film from the 1940s. The explanation turns out to be quite simple. Spiros had acquired an actual film from 1947, which showed a baseball game, but it was not obvious from the opening sequence that that was what it was about. He cut this at a point before the original subject became apparent, onto which he had spliced his own footage. The experts had only examined the first few frames." According to another researcher, Paul Seaburn, to bolster his claims, quote, "Molaris has repeatedly challenged Santilli and Sheffield to produce just one frame of genuine 1947 film with the alien's image on it," unquote. Now, as I noted earlier, this is something that Santilli has not done. Is there a problem? Look, he's not going to telepathically call for help. You're not in any trouble. Molaris also said that he and his associates left deliberate clues in the film, Easter eggs, to let the discerning know the whole thing was a hoax. One example is the word video spelled out in letters on an alleged piece of the wreckage from the alien spaceship, designed to look like hieroglyphs. Molaris's confession has created a rift between himself and Santilli. Santilli made over $30 million on the film, none of which, according to Molaris, has ever gone to Molaris. Now, Molaris is not without his detractors. His claims to be a world-class magician disappeared faster than an attractive assistant when he failed a challenge on Penn and Teller's show, Fool Us. So that's where we are, debating which hoaxer is telling more of the truth or deserves more credit for the hoax. Nice. Thanks for watching Fringe Pop 321. Don't forget to visit our website for resource materials for this episode and all our episodes. And if you want to support what we're doing at Fringe Pop, go to fp321.com/S, as in the letter S, and come back and watch again, because what you know may not be so.